Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Mark, why don't we see if we can take some questions?
I think that makes a lot of sense. All right.
You see that one from Ray? He said, so we're really just not only trading the extrinsic implied, but you're also really, I guess what he's saying is that the extrinsic is something that we trade every day, not only the decay, but the potential variance. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, the changes in extrinsic is really what drives the value of your trade. If you concentrate on where that extrinsic is trading, you will be a much more successful option trader. You know, I always tell people if you don't want to learn anything about insurance premiums, you should probably just stick to futures, because it's options are harder to trade than futures, which is why I think there's more profit potential in them. Steve, stop me if this sounds crazy, but in my experience, the harder it is to trade, the more ability there is to make money in that potential trade.
That absolutely makes sense. Like you said, but education is very important. I guess that goes to your point, though, right, Mark? You do mentoring because you need to understand what you're doing.
That's exactly right. You know, and that's really what it is that, you know, there are a lot of guys out there that don't want to teach you edge, which is a problem. Okay, as market takers, all right, you're welcome, as a group of people where the general public, our edge is the ability to initiate the trade. Okay, if you think about that, nobody can force you guys to initiate the trade. So if that's your edge, you better start using it. Okay? Figure out when is the best time to initiate that trade, and that is how you can make money. Okay? That is kind of what I concentrate on at Option Pit. Okay? I really spend my time working on when is the best time to initiate. Anybody can teach you to manage a trade. Okay? Risk management is important. It's getting in that trade as a group, as the people that initiate, that is going to make us a success.
Mark, I have a question for you. Let's say that we have three groups of people. We have beginners, we have intermediate, and we have advanced traders. Could you just go through, I know it's going to take you a long time, but maybe just as succinctly as possible, what you would advise the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced trader, and to learn, maybe to potentially come to you for help? How does that work?
Yeah, well, the beginner trader, if you're new to options, don't you dare pay for anything, okay? There are so many great resources out there that are willing to teach you for free, okay?
The OIC is one.
The OIC, the ISE. Okay? Right. If you don't think you can email Steve, or heck, email me, and we'll point you toward a great book. We'll point you toward a great website. We'll point you toward the OIC. Mm-hmm. And you can get just tons of free education. Okay? Soak that stuff up. Okay? Get to a point where a book like Shelley Natenberg's Option Volatility and Pricing, or Option Volatility and Trading, it starts to be something that you can comprehend what he's saying before you even think about paying for anything, okay? For an intermediate trader, okay, the less you spend, the better. But it's sometimes worth it to spend wisely, okay? A lot of times the intermediate traders end up buying too much education, okay? So don't go out and spend $25,000 on something that you're not sure you're going to be good at, okay? Because this isn't like college where there's an entire experience to it, and just by going to college, you've kind of expanded your general knowledge. This is a very specific, centered study. And, learning options, there's not, really learning options, there's not a lot of use to derivatives beyond derivatives, okay? And so don't go out and spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on something that you're not sure you're going to use. Shop around, learn, okay? Soak in as much as you can, okay? Someone like me, I do run this L2, my L2 Future Pros course. I purposely make it as inexpensive as possible because I want people, the first way I can improve your returns is by keeping your education costs low. That's what I tell people. But spend the right way, okay? And that is really, my number one hint. Don't just, just because something sounds great doesn't mean it is great. Now, the pros, okay, those are the guys that should really be able to tell whether or not what they're paying for is worth it. Those guys are educated enough that they should be able to spend whatever they feel like, okay? But it's the intermediate trader that I find ends up overpaying for education. Now, you can come to a guy like me. I do small classes on things like volatility. I do small classes on, I've got this L2 prep course coming up, which is kind of if what I was teaching you today you understood but you learned from, that L2, my little, my 6 to 8 week prep course, I always go over, so I say it's supposed to be 6 weeks, but it's going to end up going to 8, is a kind of great entry point. My Level 2 Future Pros course, which is, really reasonable at $3,900, is, and a year long, is something that I think there's a real value in. Watch how much you're kind of spending on a per hour basis is what I would say. For a pro, you're smart enough to figure out what is worth your time. That's what I would say. Wouldn't you tend to agree? I knew as a professional, I know talking to someone whether I can learn something from them.
Absolutely.
And that's, so I don't worry about those. It's that middle tier that I think ends up, that beginner tier that always pays for stuff that they can get for free, and that middle tier that pays for things they don't need that really kind of scares me. All right? And don't go for anyone that's teaching shortcuts. If they're not concentrating on volatility, they're not concentrating on options. All right? They're teaching you a system. Systems are ineffective. That's been my opinion.
Mark, what about your blog? Can beginners learn from your blog? Is it more for intermediate and advanced?
It's yes. I think beginners can definitely learn stuff from my blog. It's certainly geared toward the intermediate to advanced. But as a beginner, learning what you don't know can be as much of an advantage as learning what you know. Resources that I would point you toward if you're a very, very beginner, you can shoot me an email or you can call me and I'll give you some specifics, but one of my coworkers at Expiring Monthly, Mark Wolfinger, does options for rookies. His book is a great resource for new traders. And again, the OIC and the ISE are also great resources for beginners. My blog, my blog is really, it's great. It's very centered on volatility discussion would be what I would say. So if you want to know whether you know enough to trade actively, if you can read my blog and understand what I'm talking about, then you're probably in a position where I would let you trade. But I always say this. Think about your knowledge as an option trader. Would you trust somebody with your knowledge to trade your money? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't be trading. Okay?
Good point.
So that would be my knowledge. So yeah, again, follow me on Twitter. I love, you'll hear when I'm posting new blogs. I've already got a great one written for today. I haven't posted it yet though. If you want to talk to me about anything I've discussed today, if you have questions in general, you can email us, info@OptionPit. You can dial us, 888-TRADE-01. They'll make sure you get through to me, okay? And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right?
No, thank you. Again, sorry for a little bit of a glitch.
No, you know what? It's it wouldn't be WebEx if it wasn't full, if there wasn't a glitch.
So anyway, love to have you back in a couple of months.
Yeah,
you know, we're doing not only the currency, but we're doing ETFs. So maybe next time you'll jump on the other side and talk about ETFs and how important volatility, ETF options, how important it is for those also.
Yeah. Now, hey, are you guys going to have I'm just kind of hearing about this ETF deal. Are you guys going to have like a currency ETF type of thing, like a basket currency ETF or anything along those lines?
We're working on that. We'll see how that goes. I mean, there's a lot of things.
That would be a cool thing if you did kind of a dollar index ETF that you could trade against individual currencies when they get overpriced. That would be something I would love to do. You know, you buy this, one currency in particular is overpriced, so you buy the dollar index and sell the currency.
Yeah, sort of like a spread.
Well, it allows you to take the actual dollar component out of the currency
Exactly.
and just trade that single currency itself.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, couldn't thank you enough for having me on. I cannot wait to come back. I always enjoy dealing with my friends over at the International Securities Exchange, and I will talk to you guys very soon.
Mark, thank you very, very much. Tons of great information, and as Mark said, you got to figure out where you are and where you want to go. And so Mark can help you. Go visit OptionPit, OptionPit.com. Read his blog. Mark, thank you very much.
Thanks again for having me. Have a good one.
You're welcome. That was Mark Sebastian. Mark talking about volatility and its effect on FX options. Just a reminder that next week we're going to have, we'll be off, but the following week I'm going to be doing a Q&A, January 24th. And after that, that's a Monday, I believe. And I believe we'll be doing something else. Actually, we're going to be doing Rick Swope and Sean Howell will be with us on the 18th. But then on the 24th, there'll be a Q&A. You can ask all the questions you've always wanted to ask. And please sign up for all the webinars that are coming up, whether ETFs or currency. Please join us at the ISE, where we do the weekly webinars Tuesdays. We're going to be doing 3 o'clock currency, 4:30 ETFs, although we are going to sprinkle in a couple Mondays and Wednesdays until we iron it all out. But again, this is Steve Meisinger, wishing you a safe and happy trading day tomorrow. On behalf of the ISE, it's Steve Meisinger, wishing you a safe and happy trading day tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.